All right, let's dive into the world of clay kiln burners. We're going to uncover the secrets to acing that interview and landing your dream job.
Yeah, it's a fascinating field, blending artistry, technical know-how, and some serious heat.
It's not just about loving clay, though, is it?
Right. Interviewers want to see passion, sure, but also problem-solving skills and real growth in your craft. That's what we'll unpack today.
Awesome. Using insights from RoleCatcher's career and interview guides, think of us as your interview coaches.
We'll cover those tricky questions you'll likely face and throw in some insights about the career itself, like growth paths and new tech.
Sounds good. Let's jump right in. One of the first questions you'll probably get is, what experience do you have with operating a clay kiln?
Seems simple enough, right? But don't just list jobs. This is your chance to show you understand the whole process from loading to that crucial temperature monitoring.
It's about painting a picture, right? Instead of saying, I monitored temperatures, you give a specific example.
Exactly. I noticed a temperature spike and adjusted the kiln's ventilation to stabilize it. Something like that.
Makes sense. And for senior roles, highlight those leadership moments, like training a junior burner or improving efficiency.
Right. Use the career stage breakdowns in the career guide entry-level junior senior clay kiln burner to match your examples.
That's smart. And then they
Yep.
might hit you with, what were some challenges you faced operating a kiln and how did you overcome them? Problem-solving time.
Exactly. Show them you're not afraid of challenge, can think on your feet.
Okay, next up. Can you describe the process of firing clay in a kiln? This is where you show off your knowledge.
Yeah. Talk about those heating and cooling phases, how precise temperature control is key, and how airflow affects the final piece.
Like you're explaining it to someone who's never seen a kiln before.
Yeah.
Make that transformation from clay to art come alive.
And don't forget the different types of kilns, periodic and tunnel kilns. Explain how they work, like periodic kilns are great for smaller batches and tunnel kilns for mass production.
This is where RoleCatcher's AI can help, right? You can practice answers and get feedback tailored to this specific job.
Absolutely, it's a game changer. The AI analyzes your responses and gives you suggestions so you sound polished and hit all the key points.
Nice. Now, a detail-oriented question. How do you maintain and repair a clay kiln? This is where meticulousness matters.
It's like caring for a high-performance machine. Understand its parts, be proactive. Regular cleaning, inspecting the refractory lining, that heat-resistant inner layer, and replacing worn-out parts like burners.
The career guide calls this operations monitoring, keeping that kiln running smoothly and safely.
Yeah, walk them through a specific task, like I regularly check the refractory lining for cracks to prevent heat loss and extend the kiln's life.
Shows you get your hands dirty and understand preventative maintenance.
Mm.
All right, question 4 is all about safety. How do you ensure the safety of yourself and others while operating a clay kiln?
This is huge. Kilns mean high heat, sometimes hazardous materials, moving heavy stuff. Your answer has to show commitment to a safe environment.
Start with those personal protective equipment basics, heat-resistant gloves, safety glasses, maybe even a respirator if needed, and talk about those safety protocols and good ventilation.
But give an example. Did you spot a hazard and fix it? Speak up when someone wasn't following procedures. You go beyond just the rules.
Love it. It's that proactive safety culture. Now, even the best have hiccups. So, question 5. How do you troubleshoot problems with a clay kiln?
It's time to show off those analytical skills. Don't just say, I fix things. Explain your process.
Like, I first find the root cause, check manuals, analyze data from the monitoring system, and if I'm stuck, brainstorm with experienced colleagues.
Exactly. And mention specific tools, maybe a thermal camera to find hotspots or software for analyzing performance. It adds to your expertise.
Okay, shifting to the final product.
Yeah.
How do you ensure the quality and consistency of fired clay products?
It's more than just running the kiln. It's knowing how temperature, firing time, even the clay type affects the result.
The guide says maintaining consistent temperature is a big challenge, right? Even a small change can mean cracks, warping, or bad glazing.
Yeah, consistency is everything, especially in production. So highlight how carefully you monitor and adjust those settings.
Maybe you have a special way to calibrate temperature sensors or a system to document firing schedules. It shows you're committed to quality.
And don't be afraid to get specific about defects and how you prevent them. Like, warping can happen if the clay dries unevenly, so I carefully monitor drying and adjust humidity, something like that.
Nice. Shows you understand the subtleties. Now for a curveball. Have you ever encountered a problem with a clay kiln that you couldn't solve? How did you handle it?
This isn't about admitting failure. It's about showing how you handle setbacks, learn, and grow.
So be honest. Everyone's hit a wall. Share an example, but focus on the positive.
What steps did you take? Research, manuals, calling in experts. What did you learn? How did it change your approach?
A good example might be, I had a temperature fluctuation I couldn't figure out. After trying everything, I contacted a senior engineer at the kiln manufacturer. We found a faulty sensor I'd missed. It taught me about collaboration and seeking outside help.
Perfect. It shows you're resourceful, humble, and always learning.
That's it for part 1 of our Clay Kiln Burner deep dive. We've tackled some tough interview questions, giving you the tools to craft impressive answers.
But stay tuned. In part 2, we'll explore more questions, dive into career growth, and uncover how RoleCatcher's AI can be your secret weapon for landing that dream job. Back for more Kiln Talk. Ready to dive deeper.
Absolutely. We covered some great interview questions in part 1, but there's more to uncover.
All right, let's jump in. This question's about staying current. How do you stay up to date with advancements in kiln technology and techniques?
I feel like this is where your passion for the craft really shines.
You got it. Knowing the basics isn't enough anymore. New kiln tech, digital systems, automation, it's all changing fast.
It's like, if you are hiring, wouldn't you want someone who's actively learning?
Totally. So how do you stay ahead? Workshops, conferences, industry magazines, online stuff.
Maybe even experimenting in your own studio.
That's the spirit. And don't forget RoleCatcher. Tons of resources on trends, new tech, even training.
Your own personal career roadmap. Okay, let's talk about moving up. Being a kiln burner isn't a dead end, right?
Not at all. The career guide outlines some cool paths. You could specialize in a certain type of kiln or product.
Become the go-to expert.
You could lead a team of burners, take on a supervisory role.
Or if you're into innovation, maybe ceramic engineering, kiln design, even manufacturing.
The key is to show those interviewers you're ambitious and ready to grow.
And RoleCatcher can help with that too, finding those paths, connecting with mentors, and training programs.
All right, back to interview land. You might get asked, what are some common challenges clay kiln burners face?
They're checking if you understand the job's realities.
Right. The guide lists a few: consistent temperature, troubleshooting technical stuff, proper ventilation.
No, and it's physical too, right? Heavy lifting, that heat.
But here's the trick. Focus on the positive. How have you overcome these challenges? Show your problem-solving skills.
So instead of complaining, it's like maintaining temperature can be tough, especially with older kilns. But I've learned to monitor and adjust the settings for even firing.
Exactly. Or maybe you've streamlined maintenance to cut down on downtime.
Show them you're not scared of the tough stuff you learn from it.
Here's a question that makes people squirm. What are your salary expectations?
It is a bit awkward, but preparation is key.
Do your homework. RoleCatcher has salary data, so you know the typical range for your area and experience level.
And things like company size, location, the job's responsibilities, they all play a role.
Be honest and confident during the interview. Based on my experience and what this role involves, I'm looking for a salary between X and Y.
And be ready to negotiate. If their offer's too low, don't be afraid to counter with a reasonable number, backed up with solid reasons.
You have valuable skills. Don't undersell yourself. Now, before we finish this part, let's talk about those behavioral interview questions. They can be tricky.
Behavioral questions.
Yeah.
Those are about how you handled past situations.
Exactly. It gives them a peek into your skills, how you solve problems, if you'd fit in.
So how does RoleCatcher help with those?
RoleCatcher's AI is like a practice buddy. You answer the question, it gives feedback, suggests how to improve what you're saying.
I like that.
Like, imagine they ask, tell me about a time you had to work with a difficult colleague. The AI looks at your answer, gives tips on structuring the story, highlighting your skills, coming across as professional and positive.
It's like having a virtual interview coach right there with you. And we're back for the final round of our Clay Kiln Burner deep dive. Feeling inspired yet?
Oh, definitely. It's such a unique mix of art and science, and it's always evolving. Speaking of evolution, we touched on some big shifts happening with automation and all that digital stuff.
Yeah, the career guide mentioned that kilns are getting super high-tech with computers controlling everything.
Right. But does that mean the human element is disappearing?
Good question. What do you think?
I think it actually makes the kiln burner's role even more important.
Yeah.
Automation can handle the routine things, but it takes a real person to understand those subtle details, fix tricky problems, and make sure the final product is top-notch, both technically and artistically.
So it's more like humans and machines working together.
Exactly. A partnership where our expertise and their precision create something amazing. The kiln burner of the future needs to be comfortable with tech, understand the data, troubleshoot those complex systems, and adapt as things change.
So that continuous learning we talked about is key. It's not just about the basics anymore. It's about keeping up with technology and learning those new skills that go along with it.
Absolutely. And that's where platforms like RoleCatcher come in. They give you the resources and guidance you need to stay on top of things, develop those in-demand skills, and navigate the ever-changing job market.
Like a personalized roadmap for your future career, helping you through those exciting but sometimes unknown areas.
Exactly. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a question. How do you see the role of the clay kiln burner evolving? What new skills will be essential in the future?
That's a great thing to think about. This field is always changing, full of possibilities. And for those who embrace the challenge, keep learning and adapt, the future is bright, really bright, thanks to those kilns.
Couldn't agree more. And remember, RoleCatcher is there every step of the way. Free access to tons of resources, career guides, interview practice, even AI feedback to help you polish those skills and land that dream job.
So whether you're just starting or you're already a kiln expert, keep that passion burning. You got this. That's a wrap on our Clay Kiln Burner deep dive. Hope you found it helpful, maybe even inspiring. Thanks for joining us.